Hello, hello, and welcome to Third Shot Rants with Howard and Gina. I'm Gina. Hey, Howard.
Hi, Gina.
And we're two pickleball friends living in Chicago. Howard, what are we talking about today?
Gina, I think this is the Gina episode. So, for our listeners, the first episode of our podcast was our origin stories, how we got into pickleball. And I think this is a little bit of a continuation of your origin story, maybe Gina part two, of really how you got into coaching in particular. You're a full-time coach now. This is what you do, which is amazing. And we'd like to hear a little bit about this. So, Gina, maybe kind of back up a little bit from specifically getting into coaching and tell us a little bit about your work life, what things were like pre-pickleball.
Yeah. Man, my pre-pickleball life was very different. So I came off of 10 years of federal service. I worked for Social Security Administration, doing various jobs with them.
What'd you do?
Yeah, so I started as someone who worked on awards, so someone applied for benefits, making sure that they were getting paid correctly, etc. And then I worked in management for a few years, which was just really a tough job. I had about 30 people that I was managing. Really, every day was just pure chaos. But I do think it prepared me for this moment. And then most recently, I worked in our regional office, and I was an internal auditor. So I would go to different offices, field offices in the Midwest region, basically conduct some internal audits of their processes and write up some thrilling reports on what they were doing right and what they were doing wrong. So that was my past. I had some experience training new employees while I was there, which kind of was a little light bulb going off that I really enjoyed, teaching people right off the street some pretty technical government policy. Had fun with just kind of getting to know people and breaking things down into a way that was slightly more digestible. So there was a few hints of oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's just something else out there for me.
So you were teaching new employees who'd come into the Social Security Administration,
Yeah,
and you were training them on whatever important processes you had.
basically, yeah. So they'd be fresh in off the street and essentially just introducing them to SSA language. So there's just the jargon is off the charts at government, and probably I'm sure most places in general just have a lot of things that outside people wouldn't quite understand. So worked with the public a bit.
So that seems like a pretty good career, more or less, right? What happened? Why the change?
Yeah, this was interesting, Howard. You were with me for this ride, and it was a wild one. But during, let's see, January of 25, with the new administration, everything just kind of was just thrown upside down. Everything that we were doing was getting paused, and everything was changing, and there were a lot of unknowns happening, and it was happening really, really fast. So it was very tough time. So our agency went through some difficult times, like many other agencies, where people were just being let go left and right, departments just getting slashed. What had happened in my area was our regional office just kind of dissolved. It went to Kansas City, so Chicago no longer existed. I was given an option to take a reassignment, but I wouldn't get a say in what I'd be doing, which, I don't know. At that point, after 10 years, I was just I cannot do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I just don't want to be here anymore for this. Just waking up and not knowing what kind of shit you're going to deal with that day.
So this is all freaking Trump and Elon Musk, right?
Fucking Elmo. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, it was, I just, yeah, as you know, like it was a very difficult time in my life. Like I was not functioning very well. I was not like getting out of bed all the time. You did always like such nice things of like just checking in on me all the time. Like, hey, let's go play pickleball. Let's get dinner. Let's talk. Helping me so much, like just kind of figure out next steps and like making me feel like, okay, I can do this. So I appreciate like your friendship and just all the support that you've given me, Howard. It's amazing. So you're
Thanks,
just
Gina.
one of a kind.
So I will say, I think you had a certain clarity in your decision making that I found impressive. So, as I recall, there's a lot of uncertainty about exactly what was going on, and it's you kind of really made the decision to leave before you absolutely had to, right? Like there was a lot of stuff going down, a lot of stuff going wrong, and maybe you didn't maybe you didn't have a viable job that you would have wanted long term. But the thing I thought was pretty impressive and a little risky, but really pretty impressive, was you kind of decided, okay, this is just terrible for me. Like I'm my mental health is a disaster given the world as it is where I'm working. So I just got to leave. And you did that before you strictly had to, I think.
This is right. Yeah, I'm still like, I'm listening to your words and I'm like, okay, that is crazy. Like just knowing how risk averse I am, it's very not on brand for me. Like I was like, basically at the government because my parents, they owned a restaurant. They worked on their feet all day long and they wanted their kids to have, like the quote unquote, like cushy office job, right? Like that kind of lifestyle was like sought after. Like you get health insurance, you have vacation time, all the things you don't get in hospitality business. Yeah. So thinking about like, okay, that was 10 years of
And
my life.
you
And
you really had like a pretty solid job. Like it was
yeah.
a comfortable, you knew what you're doing. It was a comfortable paying job. You sort of had everything you could have wanted, I think, right? And you could do all the social and everything else that you wanted besides that. So it was kind of a really solid job, and just leaving that, even given the craziness of Elon and everything, was a big step, which I thought was really impressive at the time.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you for your support in that.
If there hadn't been all the craziness, do you think you would still be at that job?
Yes. And this just comes back to me being risk averse in general. So yeah, I think like I would like talk with my therapist about like, I'm just really not, I like staring at a screen all day is just not for me. Like, some days you're just like pretending to be busy, which seems to be like par for the course in corporate world at the moment. So yeah, I think I was just a little bit too comfortable. Like I needed a little bit of a push or I would have just stayed. So I think this was like also something that like I wouldn't have had the guts to do much earlier. Like I kind of needed to be, I don't know, have some life under my belt here. So
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. One thing I think I mentioned in the very first episode when we talked about your coaching was I've always felt you seem really observant at pickleball. That you pick up on things that you're doing or other people are doing very 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 quickly. You mentioned them to me, and most of the time I had no idea any of this was going on. But when you kind of mentioned it, like, oh yeah, that's kind of obvious. That makes sense. How did that come about?
yeah, Howard, I think this comes back to even just like my high school tennis career. Like I didn't pick up a tennis racket until like freshman year tryouts. And this was just like I don't know, just try something new. And, I would watch Serena and Venus and just kind of figure things out. And obviously I never would ever compare myself to them, but just realizing that I could learn something by watching, and kind of notice like, oh, okay, this is what I need. Like, this is what this sort of needs to look like, was super helpful. And so when I was new to pickleball, I honestly just like wasn't getting it. I was very much, this, Howard, that I was very much playing mini tennis on a pickleball court, and it was not good. And at some point I was just very, very bored, and I started watching every single weekend PPA nonstop. And I'm like, I look at Ben Johns and I'm like, I just like, this doesn't look like what I see in myself or my friends or anywhere out. And again, it's not to say that, now I look like that, but it's just seeing, like, just using, watching those pros and just sort of seeing like, okay, this is what this game could be. Understanding like how much wrists or shoulders involved, those little things that, just kind of feel like, I guess they're not little, but those things that maybe you think you're doing and then you see someone else do it and it's kind of as a light bulb going off. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that just kind of, something that I did to learn tennis was just watching on TV and kind of PPA or like pickleball as well. So just realizing that what I was doing was not right and I could improve a little bit. And yeah, it just made me kind of pinpoint little things that were like really quick fixes for my game.
Yeah, that's great. How did you kind of decide to take the plunge to get into coaching? Was there sort of, what was your decision process like? Who'd you talk to? How'd you make that decision?
Howard, I'm going to come back to you with this one, because did you suggest this like as an interim as I look for jobs? Because I'm honestly blanking on how it came about initially.
I remember talking about it with you. I don't know whether I was, specifically the person who suggested it or the first person, but
Yeah.
I think we talked about it, and there were, pickle is such a new sport that there were lots of people around us, people who had kind of started getting into coaching around that time, and I don't actually remember saying. I think I probably said to you like this seems like something up your alley. Mm-hmm. Would you think about that?
Yeah, I think you brought the idea to me, and it felt a little bit too like far fetched of like, who's gonna pay me for this, or how am I going to pay my bills? But then it really kind of started as like that stepping stone of like, oh, this could be like a fun summer job as I'm looking for a new boring ass office job or something. But then like I remember like I told my therapist, who like I remember like the first time I played pickleball and I came home and had a session with her and like told her about it, and I lit up and I was like, yeah, I think I might try to get certified. And she just was like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. That was nice. And then like I told like a guy at work, my friend Paul, who I just respect the heck out of at SSA, and like his initial response was just like an uppercase, all caps, yes. And I'm like, okay, this is good. Like those types of responses like really just kind of helped me. I didn't tell a ton of people, but it was just a couple people that I trusted or just I respected, and getting like a very clear yes was very helpful for me. So yeah, I definitely kind of thought like, okay, well, this is something just to kind of get through, right? Figure out whatever's next and have a little fun along the way.
Yeah. And you could always have done it part time as well. So, if you'd gone back into some kind of office or more regular job, you could have done that, whether that was a full time or part time thing. But you could always have done some coaching on the side. So, getting certified seemed to make sense.
Yeah. So I was, I left work, my job in, I think the end of March of 25. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And then, like I was kind of like struggling to like figure out what to do. Like, so I just like got up every day, and like was studying my program and like just learning as much as I could. And it gave me like a sense of purpose in that time for sure. So it was really helpful to have something to be working on.
How'd you pick which program? There's at least two certification entities, right?
Yeah.
How'd you pick what to do?
Yeah, I picked RPO. Honestly, I asked a few people like just that are in the industry for opinions, and a lot of people had both certifications, and they said that they really liked RPO's their curriculum, and then you also get a Yola paddle like every time you renew. So that was, you're already paying like this renewal fee, so you may as well get a paddle while you're at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the program was written by Colin Johns, who's Ben John's older brother, and it does seem to be like very well thought out, and I'm very happy with that decision. So,
Would you get the other certification now? Or that doesn't really make sense.
no, I wouldn't do PPR. I don't think I need to. I might do Duper, though I don't know that I don't know.
Are you going to become a duper coach, Gina? Can you fix my duper?
Oh my gosh, Howard. I don't know that it's like critical to do that.
Okay. That's just a joke. I don't even have a duper, but
I know. Oh, no.
maybe you could give me a coach assigned duper. That'd be excellent.
Oh my God, Howard, don't get me started. Do not.
Okay. Was there anything about the certification process that was surprising to you, or that you really enjoyed? What kind of stands out from that?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. Like the amount of notes that I took was like obscene, and like the amount of notes that I would take to like my first lessons, like the first few months of working, like now I would never really like, I've got a scribbled piece of paper of like a few things that I'll think about, just because, you kind of get your spiels down in the beginning or like as you go. But like in the beginning, it was like, just like really learning, I guess some of the nuances of the game, like even just like the important things, like getting to know people. Like it really is like a people business, right? Like everyone's got a story, and there's a reason, why everyone's there, what they're working on, or like what keeps them motivated. So sometimes it's like maybe not a mechanical thing, but just remembering the people involved was an important part of the process. And I really enjoyed our like in-person clinic. The clinicians are just really excellent players, and got to pick up a few things from them at that session, which was really valuable.
I remember one time, I think fairly early on, I was either you were practicing something. I was somehow, I never drill, as I've talked
Oh
about, but
yeah.
I was playing. I was doing some sort of drill with you. Even just feeding you the right ball was challenging. Like it's not something I've never thought about, and I forget what you were trying to hit, but I was trying to feed you a ball, and maybe 1 out of 4 balls was approximately in the right location for you, and just the thought of having to do that all the time over and over again, and getting things right to someone who's kind of paying some serious money for training from you. That's a little intimidating for me.
Yeah. I mean, even just this week, it was in a lesson, and I told the guy, I'm like, hang on, give me like a few seconds to just figure out this feed that I'm doing, and or like just give me like a few reps of like letting me figure this one out. It was kind of like this like mid-court floater that was going to stay in, and he's going to hit a 2-E backhand, like just kind of rip it back. But yeah, just like little things like that of like, okay, I haven't really, like, let me calibrate myself real quick on this one. People are usually pretty understanding of that.
Yeah. What do you think has changed between your early lessons versus where you are today?
Yeah, I think early on it's really hard not to focus like solely on mechanics, because mechanics are very like black and white. Like like, here's how you hold the paddle, here's how your swing path looks, here's what your legs are doing, and all of those things, which are obviously very important. But it's definitely not as important as just making the right choice on court. And so I think that, like, when I started, it was very much like stand in line and hit this ball that I'm feeding to you and think about your mechanics. But now everything I do is mostly like game time scenarios. So you'll
Uh-huh.
try to maximize reps, but understanding, especially like why we're doing something and why it's the right choice, is way more important than like having the most perfect stroke. Um, like I don't know, like I'll do like a class on some transition work, and I'm barely going to talk about how we actually hit a reset, because if I feed you a ball to your feet and I tell you where you want it to land, after a few in a row, like you're going to get it, and it's tilting that paddle head back, right? It's loosening that grip. It's these little things that little adjustments that we can make along the way. So I'll always like demo things and tell you what to do briefly, but then it's a little bit of just sort of figuring it out as we go. So yeah, I would say now my classes and lessons are much more focused on making the right choice, being in the right place,
Uh-huh.
and then maybe I'll focus a little bit on mechanics. I mean, it depends on what people are asking for, but yeah. So that's been like the biggest change in my style, and just figuring things out as I go. So it's just constantly learning as I go.
Nice, nice. What are some of your either your favorite or most effective classes or sessions that you offer?
I mean, I think we've maybe touched on this briefly, but like I think a three in me, like finding your three friends and drilling with coach is usually a good time. Like we'll typically start with some kitchen work, making the right choices, talking about like, why a speed up was right or wrong there, things like that. And then work on some transition, making sure that we're focusing on getting to the kitchen instead of like trying to win the point when we're way out of position and just not in a good spot on court. And then probably like end on some point play. So yeah, really focusing on making the right decision at the right time and then putting it all together at the end. So I always enjoy those sessions, and I get good feedback about them as well.
Okay, a little bit of a tough question, Gina. Like, how do you tell whether people are getting better or not? Like, people come for lessons, they want to get better. Um, what is it? What are some success stories of when it is that people really are getting better? What are they doing right that maybe other people are not?
For me, and this is like probably just part of the growing pains of going from like that intermediate or advanced beginner to the next step up, it's going to be making that right choice. So if I'm in transition and I've got a ball at my feet, a lot of beginners and people newer to the game are whacking that ball and it's flying on us. And so I know that like it can be painful to be missing our drops, and it's not like gratifying when that ball hits the net instead of going over the net. But seeing people actually, like make that right choice, I'm always commending. I'm all good with a missed drop because that just takes a little bit of practice. But making the right decision is something that like you have to kind of come to on your own. Like you're the one in the driver's seat, right? Like I can tell you what to do, but if you're not practicing that, it just doesn't. It's not going to come. Yeah, I would say like that for me is just seeing the right choices being made. I'm very unconcerned with execution most of the time. Like that'll come. That's next, right? But
Uh-huh.
making the right choice first, it's got to be. Yeah, that part like can't be skipped over. like you maybe know what you're supposed to do, but you're not doing it, that doesn't help, right? So you're not split stepping. Okay, like, well, as soon as you're ready to start split stepping, then we can kind of move on with your lessons. But if you're moving through every single shot, nothing's going to really change at this point. So I think people that like, the advice I always give, like at the end of a lesson, is go to open play and don't care about wins and losses. Like I do not count wins and losses when I'm playing with my friends, when I'm at open play, when I'm doing whatever. I go to Horner Park, anything. It's so not concerning to me at all. But that's my practice time, right? Like that's how I got good at drops. And
Yeah, we've talked about that and how some people find that just so difficult.
Yeah,
right?
it's really tough for people to turn off that super competitive part of their brain. But if you don't practice it, we just kind of get stuck in those same patterns of just wailing on everything a little bit too much. Nothing really changes. No new strategies are being implemented. So that's always my number one piece of advice: is practice one or two things at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself, and things like the pieces of the puzzle kind of start falling into place.
What about if in your sessions when someone's making a wrong decision, you just really yell at them, Gina?
Oh my God. I can't even imagine like how, like what someone would have to do to get me to yell at them.
Like, come on, you try to speed up that fucking 10th ball in a row that's at your ankles. What the hell do you think you're doing? Something like that. Or maybe you get a bullhorn and just blast it whenever they've made a bad decision.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, I could say like, hey, give me 10 push-ups because you're speeding up balls at your ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bullhorn is a good idea, mostly because, my voice doesn't carry, Howard, so no one can hear me. But
I've also heard you talk to your alleged bad cat sometimes and you reprimand him. So maybe bring a little bit of that into your lessons. That work?
oh my gosh. Sometimes he's just so bad. Oh, he's so cute. So no, there's no yelling happening, but I appreciate the suggestion.
I will say I really don't try to offer anyone any tips at open play or in Park District sessions or anything. But the closest I come is there are people who will really just try to speed every ball up, even if it's at their ankles. And if they're playing against halfway decent people, that never works because either it's going to net or it's getting crushed when it does go over. And that's the time when I'm really tempted to say something like, you've done this 10 times in a row and it hasn't worked. Like, do you understand what's going on?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and just getting people to kind of understand like the geometry of a pickleball court is very unique, and it really just presents this challenge of like what can be hit hard and what cannot be hit hard. But we come out here just swinging away, and it's hard to reel it in after we've been doing that for maybe a year or two. And then you decide like, oh, I'm not really like winning games. What do I got to do? And it's usually that I got to play a lot softer than I think.
Yeah. Very fair. What's life like as a coach these days?
Life is really good. It's every day is very fun for me. I do like all sorts of things like classes, private sessions. I'm running a lot of leagues. That's a tough part of my job, is like the managing the herding of the kittens and things like that, of getting all the right people in the right place and making sure I've got even numbers and things like that. But it's really fun getting to know people through that time. So we actually like just had this really fun event at Piccadilly where, I don't know, I like went on a rampage and just emailed like every person who's taken an advanced beginner class or league in the like this year, and like invited them to an open play. And then we went out and had pizza after at Sketchbook. Super, super fun. So yeah, like it's fun to like have like parties as part of my job and things like that. Like we have a big Pride event coming up on Sunday, and that was just kind of born out of an idea of like, oh, I want Costco cake. Like we should do like a Pride party. Like that would be fun. And then
Are you
like,
getting the Costco cake in the correct formulation?
the chocolate cake with vanilla icing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay,
I will be making that request. Probably get
okay.
the little rainbow action on there. Uh,
Ah,
so yeah, it's fun to just kind of like see what sticks. They trusted me in buying 20 tickets to a Sky game and, leading a group out to just kind of take a field trip and go support women's sports. And it's really, it's been very, very, very fun and rewarding, and just getting to know like so many people. Um, yeah, it's very gratifying. I never ever felt this in my other job. So it's very different. But yeah, it's also just like some things can be tough for me just because like I'm very naturally introverted, which I think is, I don't know, part of maybe my charm is that I'm not like a loud and crazy person. I'm just, I don't know, very calm and like, I don't know, even toned, but it takes a lot out of me. Like even just like doing, I don't know, a few classes in a row, like it takes a whole bunch of energy out of me. And I remember talking to Vivian Glosman, and she mentioned that like she could play all day and it'd be fine, but like when she coaches, it like just really drains her. That was made me feel better because I'm like, I don't understand, but I think I give a lot of myself away, and it takes a lot out of me, but
yeah,
it's all like in a good way.
yeah. Because we chat sometimes. You often call me when you're on your drive home from Piccadilly, and I can tell even if you've had like a good day, you're pretty wiped, right? Like
I'm like
you're
just out
tired.
of it. My dogs are barking. I told someone yesterday my dogs are barking, and they're like, "Oh, how many dogs do you have?" And I'm like, "Are you serious? I have cats. It's my feet. They hurt. You know this about me." But yeah, it does take a lot out of me, and but it's very much a life that it's I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, that's amazing. I do. You are introverted, but you're kind of a very friendly people person at the same time, right? In a way that I think not every introverted person is.
I think that's right, and so like to charge my batteries, I need to come home. I need to lay in bed. I need a cat next to me. I need to watch TV. That's how I like recharge. But since growing up, I think like in the restaurant, I was, forced to work there. And I remember my dad like forcing me to talk to people and get to know people. That was like not fun for me as a 13-year-old, but I can see the value in it now. And like, I think that one of my like special skills that I have is that I can remember so many names. It's very impressive. I can name every person in all my leagues at any time. I don't know like why my brain does that, or like how, like I have no other reason to ever like know that I had that skill until now. And I'm like, oh, this is very valuable. And like, yeah, it's been interesting to like think about those hospitality skills, think about my sports background and like how this all kind of comes together, and management experience and teaching government policy experience, things like that, that all kind of, I never thought I was preparing for anything different. But I realize now that I have some decent skills that are important.
Yeah, I see you sometimes at Dilly when there's a big group there. It's like a big open play, or there's something going on, and I can you're kind of flittering around among different groups and people, and really seeming to enjoy it. Like I see you,
Mm-hmm.
and people love you as well. So everyone's calling out to you. They want your time. They want to say hi to you, and you also really seem to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've just met, some of the just great people all around, and I love like hearing about like why people are there and like what their story is, and it's really impressive just like how many people have never played a sport before. This is they're in the middle of their lives or later, and this is the first time they're playing a sport and they love it. And then, I mean, even talking to older women who say, like, I didn't have like the option to play a sport in high school, like that was not presented to us. Like, it gives me chills a little bit that they're out here playing and like loving it. And like, yeah, like one day at league, we were on water break, and a few ladies were sharing like their cancer scars that they have. Like, oh, like this is where I had skin cancer removed, and someone had part of a finger removed because of cancer. And it's like, gosh, these ladies are badasses. Like, I don't know. It's like I took a pottery class once, and I'm like, God, I'm so terrible at this. Like, I don't want to do this ever again. But so many people like try pickleball and keep at it with having like no athletic background, and they really like make strides, make friends, have so much fun, get good exercise, doing something healthy for themselves. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's very inspiring. Trying new things is hard always. So yeah, it's amazing, like the vantage point that I get on getting to know people.
Yeah, that's great. What's next for Gina in her coaching life, do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of like here for the ride. I'm gonna continue learning about this game. Kind of keep tweaking things when I see like things that work, things that don't work. That's important for me to kind of be keeping note of. Continue to like meet people where they're at, and having a good understanding of like what people know before they get to me. So yeah, I think it's a nonstop learning job for me. Yeah, and it's ever rewarding. So I'm excited for whatever's in my path coming up.
That's fantastic. So, Gina, Coach's Corner, this whole show has pretty much been Coach's Corner, but do you have something specific for us?
Yeah. So this is definitely a Coach's Corner episode, but we got an email in from our friend Denise. Let me see if I have it here. So this is an advanced beginner player. And she mentions that she's surprised at how seldom players are dinking at her level. And, what's the secret to elevating your dink game? Or do you not really start dinking until you improve out of that advanced beginner level? I think for me on this question, it's going to be getting some confidence at introducing the dink in the game. And so you can force people to dink by hitting a block volley if they're slamming it at you. Or you just win the point because they don't dink it back and they slam it back. And we already talked about the geometry of the court. It doesn't quite allow that. So I think that the crux of that question is really is kind of dealing with the quote unquote bangers or people who just don't have any sort of slow game. So I think my best advice there is to really play your game, your style of game, which means when you're transitioning, you're hitting your drop shots. We don't just hit everything as hard as we can because that's just going to add fuel to the fire. When you do get to the kitchen, think about hitting a block volley, which means you're placing that backhand in front of your body usually, not using a super tight grip. Let that paddle be a backboard essentially. And that to me, usually try that, will kind of introduce the idea of, oh, we have to dink now. If they can't hit it past you and they're hitting it, right at you, you can control the pace of that ball a little bit, but that's obviously easier said than done. So there's some bravery to be built up. There's some trying new things. There's, getting a little bit spooked by a fastball and trial and error. So I think that you could definitely start introducing it into games. Because whenever I'm playing, I play in leagues and stuff at that level, I force everyone to dink. So that's my coach's corner. Any questions on that, Howard?
I do think dinking is very, very uncommon.
Yeah.
Below a certain level, maybe it's like 3-2-5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like people just don't dink, and you can you can absolutely win games, and I don't. If your goal is to win games at that level, you probably don't need to dink, and it may be counterproductive to dink because if you dink and they speed it up and you can't handle the speed up, or they hit it to your partner, if they can't handle the speed up, even if it's a bad speed up, people are going to win a lot of 3-0 games with crappy speed ups because that does work at that level. And a lot of what it is funny when you watch, you mentioned earlier sort of watching Pro Pickle and what Johns does and so forth, and all the pro doubles games, they all proceed the same way, right? Everyone gets the net pretty much all the time, and they dink and they try to exploit each other, and then there's something happens. But that's not what wins a 3-0 game. Is you're winning maybe on your serve or your return a serve, or most likely someone's making an unforced error somewhere.
Yeah.
But no one is dinking. Like I think it's a great idea if someone, because they want to ultimately get better in the long run, to work on parts of the game that they don't really need yet. But it comes back to the thing of you don't really need to dink to win at that level, and that's why most people don't.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that's like part of one of my spiels too, is like, hey, we're beginners. We might not be dinking in games, but here's why it's important, right? We're talking about stance. We're talking about how we grip the paddle, how we swing the paddle, all of those like super important concepts that like never quite go away. So yeah, building those fundamentals is crucial. But I think I think it's a good thing to introduce. Because at that under 3-0 level, like a speed up is going to win the point usually. But just anticipating it a little bit better is going to help, I don't know, make these points a little bit longer, win a few more games. So expecting that speed up to come when you start dinking is kind of part of your growth process too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so for people who want to contact Gina and get some coaching, they should email her at gtpicklecoach@gmail.com. That's gtpicklecoach@gmail.com. Please send us questions. Please send us questions and comments. We will feature them like we did today. Email us at thirdshotrants@gmail.com. And please follow and rate our show. Gina, Aftershow?
Howard, what are your summer plans?
Well, I'm gonna play a lot of pickleball.
Have you been playing outside?
I have been playing outside. This week has been a little rough because it's very humid and it's rained a little bit. But I have been outside. I have been to a couple of the open play courts that we've talked about on our last episode. So I finally made it out to James Park. Well, the courts there are tremendous. They're probably the nicest. They are probably the nicest public outdoor pickleball courts that I'm aware of in the area. There are 15 courts, so there's a whole bunch of them. They are individually separated, so each court has fencing around each single court to prevent balls from going onto adjacent courts. So you have much less of an issue of balls coming onto your court. The spacing is good. There's a solid amount of space around each court, so nothing is cramped. They do have wind screens. I'm not convinced that wind screens actually do much good ever, but they do have wind screens, so that's nice. And they're fantastic. So I think we talked about this. Some of the new courts are weirdly sloped, where there's just what seems like an excessive amount of slope to the court, presumably for drainage reasons, but it seems like more than is needed. But these have a little bit of slope, but a perfectly reasonable amount. So they're fantastic. So people should check them out. We will include the Team Reach code again as we did last time. I think it's a still developing open play culture. There is some open play happening. There's definitely some open play that's arranged by scheduling on the Team Reach chat. But there isn't a consistent, you can go there every weekday morning and expect to find open play at such and such a time. But I suspect that will come because the courts are great and there's so many of them that it's an easy place for people to kind of gravitate towards.
Awesome. I still haven't been there, but I've got to meet Elder Dos Santos, who is a community member who was pivotal in getting those courts in. So hearing his enthusiasm for those courts made me want to go visit soon.
Yeah. And I also made it out to the Wilmette courts that we talked about on the last episode, and they're still good. There's an active open play scene in the mornings every day, I think weekdays and weekends. It's a really pretty good mix of play.
Excellent. Have you been to Horner Park lately?
Not this past week because I've just gone to different places, so I don't actually know, but I suspect it's going the same as always. We do have a little Horner Park news, right, Gina?
Yeah. So our friend of the pod, David Tran, is setting up with the Park District a Horner Park Open, a scramble tournament coming up. I believe the date is going to be Saturday, July 11th. I think that's been confirmed. So we can put a team reach for that too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, if you're interested, head on out. It's pretty cool. I never kind of thought that Horner Park would work with anyone on anything like, yeah.
And I can tell you, Gina, that among the raffle prizes that will be given out are first a thirdshotrants cap.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of nice. And even more importantly, a session of coaching with you.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for that. It's like a fun way to get to, meet someone new and, tweak their game a little bit. So, yeah, we're excited to be part of that tournament happening. And
what about your summer, Gina? What's going on?
So, gosh, I haven't really been playing outside much, but I did play in that Dink for Diabetes tournament at Danny Caniff Park when there's 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it was ridiculous. Like all I could do was like shrug and laugh at like how ridiculous these points were. But I did come to the conclusion that my top 3 favorite sports. 1 is indoor pickleball, 2 is golf, 3 is outdoor pickleball. I do not need to be playing outside that much. Very, very spoiled.
So fancy, Gina.
Well, yeah, it was comical. But yeah, I mean, like today I could have gone to Horner Park, but it rained this morning, and like Tuesdays are, good for me to head over. But yeah, so hopefully I get some outside play soon. It feels like it's been really exceptionally windy this summer or this spring.
Certainly this week.
Like the last 3 weeks have been very windy.
I will say that tomorrow morning, originally I was going to be playing outside, but friend of the show, Susie, thought it was some combination of too windy and or too hot to play outside. So
I respect that, Susie.
Inside it is.
Oh, where are you going?
McFetrich.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if wind gusts are over 11 mile, 12, 13, yeah, I don't know what my limit is, but 20 was friggin' bonkers for me. I did not.
I enjoy a wind game. Like just it's not pickleball. It's just a different game. You're still playing it with the pickleball ball and paddle, but trying to use the wind when it's behind you and trying to kind of fight into the wind when it's against you.
Okay, I get that.
I kind of enjoy it. Like,
yeah, when it like just hits like this invisible wall, the ball, and like just stops going, it's like, okay, I can't even really be mad. There's nothing I can do about this.
See, I feel like if you have the wind with you, then you're trying to use the wind, and you're trying to kind of feed the ball into the wind, and obviously keep it on the court. But you're trying to calibrate that. And if you're going into the wind, I do feel like I can slice the shit out of the ball, and it will cut through the wind a little better than other shots.
Fair enough, Howard.
A little bit like a golf shot into the wind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, all right, Gina, we'll get you out there when it's 20 miles an hour and see what's going on.
Shit.
Okay, because this is the after show, I'm going to leave that in. That little sound, Gina taking a drink from her water bottle. In a prior episode, which I think we edited out, Gina took like 10 separate drinks from a water bottle. She would open up the water bottle, which would make an audible sound. She'd drink from it like a little bit noisily, and then plonk down her metal water bottle on top of her desk, and then close the lid each time, even though she's just at a desk, right? She closed the lid each time between the 20 times she's taking a sip during the podcast.
Oh my God, I couldn't even script that better. I am so sorry, Howard.
If it was in the regular show, we might have taken it out, but we're going to leave that all in because it's the after show.
This is what I'm dealing with. I can't stay hydrated while we're recording.
It's entirely possible, Gina, to drink from an open water bottle that you leave open. You don't need to open and close it. Just place the bottle gently down on the table.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Not even going to talk about the cats, Gina. Not even going to talk about the cats. The cats have been great today.
They've been really great. They just woke up from a nap. So anyway, Howard, happy pickling.
Happy pickling, Gina.
Love ya.
Bye.